quality education, community-friendly school, leadership and determination. Mabulitec Integrated School is organized by a clear structure and work arrangements that promote shared leadership and governance and define the roles and responsibilities of the stakeholders and its community. God's timing is not always our timing. He may not work things out the way we plan, but He is working things out for better. This COVID-19 pandemic has really changed everything around the world. From our basic routinary way of living to celebration of big events has suddenly shifted to new normal. To start with, this most awaited event has never been made possible without the support of the equally and highly esteemed individuals from the school's division office of Pangasinan 1, led by the dynamic and very supportive Assistant Schools Division Superintendent Officer in Charge, Dr. Ellie S. Obado, the epitome of an empowered woman, and our active schools district supervisor, Dr. Nila U. Ferrer, our dedicated and top-performing school principal, Dr. Christine Manuel Paglingayan, other distinguished men and women of the entire academic community, colleagues, members of the graduating class and completers, proud parents, guardians, friends, ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant and joyous viewing to all. Over the past 10 months, you have lived with incredible uncertainty, not only about how the pandemic would play out, but also about basic aspects of your daily lives, where you'd be living, how you'd be learning, and how to ensure the safety of your families. Today, my dear parents, our graduates and completers who patiently waited, finally it is over. Mabulitec Integrated School proudly presents virtual moving up, graduation, and commencement exercises for the school year 2020 to 2021 with the theme, Strengthening the Quality of Education Amid the COVID-19 Pandemic. To begin with, may we all put ourselves in the spirit of patriotism as we listen to our Philippine National Anthem, opening prayer, regional hymn, and Pangasinan hymn played respectively via audio-visual presentation.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Let us pray. Our loving and generous God, we praise and thank you for the bountiful blessings you have given us. Thank you for giving us a mind that can know and a heart that can love. Thank you for giving us the chance to continue learning amidst the pandemic that had caused a lot of changes in our lives. We are sorry for the times we have failed you. We humbly ask for your forgiveness. Father, help us stay focused on our studies. When learning becomes difficult, Grant us the gift of courage and enthusiasm. Grant us the grace to use our knowledge in making a difference into the lives of the people around us. All this we pray in your mighty name. Amen.
And the rivers, through the plains and winding trails, to the shores where breezes linger. That's the place I love so well. It's the home of men who loved her, men who died to keep us free, men who told no bad the weather, that anyone will never be. Region 1, oh Region 1, there's no better place I see. Region 1, oh Region 1, dearest home by far to me. From her care I learn my lessons, in her veils I work and play. She has kept me safe and happy as I live on day by day. From to other lands I wander as I search for wealth and fame. In my heart I will remember Region 1, beloved name. Region 1, oh Region 1, there's no better place I see. Region 1, oh Region 1, dearest of my far to me. Other lands I wander as I search for wealth and fame. In my heart I will remember Region 1, beloved name. Region 1! Pangasinan niya binabli, daan mo tani aligwas, iuragod ko lawas. Nagpuso Pangasinan, agkanalingwanan, luyak ko yan iyanagan, bedegdakan yaman. Mula kaya nila kasih maluri di mapula say pangkakasat pinatay na lilik na labot ka na mabresika say dayak mundak na'y datuktan sa yaman sa nagakapalan ngayon naroon ang tansamping mo Pangasinan pagyan lawas Bantayan, lawas takkan itang duro Pangasinan, arwen kakang bayubuan, anang apupong yawala na bangunan, ikikinon ko syupaman, Pangasinan, luyang minatyawan.
The Mabulitec Integrated School incessantly delivers standards and quality with greater efficiency through leadership, vision, and actions that speak a volume about empowering learners with courage and dynamism. Hence, today, we are quite proud to hear words of welcome from our very own school head, Dr. Christine Manuel Paglingaya.
In our virtual commencement exercises, may I take pride to extend my deep and heartfelt appreciation to the support of the local government unit, headed by Honorable Mayor Noel Anthony M. Heslani, Barangay Council headed by Honorable Pablo M. Espirito, PTA officers and members headed by Mr. Juanito V. Salinas, DepEd officials, our Schools Division Superintendent Dr. Ellie S. Obaldo, Public Schools District Supervisor Dr. Nila U. Ferrer, Mabulitec Integrated School faculty and staff, and to the new breed of graduating class of school year 2020-2021 who have passed through the portals of an institution that has carved a name in the field of education. Friends, ladies and gentlemen, good day. The pandemic has caused many graduations to be replaced with virtual, drive-in, and other alternative ceremonies. In spite of this, we want to make this ceremony a memorable one. I want to acknowledge and give my warm congratulations to all the parents whose sacrifice is an unequal and consistently prepared to take part in the perpetuation and further development of knowledge, skills, and ideals of their children in the new normal. To the teachers of MIS, I know that your endeavor to train, teach, and foster our learners is laden with challenges. I can say that you have conquered these challenges admirably. Your dedication and perseverance earned this school the respect and prestige it rightly deserves. To our students, always be thankful of every opportunity that comes your way. Not everyone is given the chance to learn, and should count yourself fortunate that you have supportive parents to guide you in your studies, teachers who are always there with helping hands, and your community to assist you. As we move on to the next chapter, our big journey of life, whether in elementary, junior high school, senior high school, college, workforce, or something else, life will at some point begin to feel like it's going too fast. Your time in Mabulitec Integrated School have taught you a new way to handle in this time of health crisis. Study well and study hard. Your welfare and that your family relies heavily on your shoulder. Carry it with pride. I am quite sure that the educational experiences you gain will have impressive impact in your struggle for a better life. After all, this is what the new educational programs mean. So wherever life may take each one of you, graduates of 2021, always remember that there are no substitute for excellence, character, and integrity. On behalf of Mabulitec Integrated School, my heartfelt congratulations and best wishes. Mabuhay tayong lahat.
We believe that the secrets behind this significant event is the woman behind the progression of our beloved Department of Education. A woman who is not only excellent, but also very exceptional in leadership. Let us hear the message from our Secretary of the Department of Education, Secretary Leonor Magdoles Briones.
Good day to each and everyone who is attending virtually present at this time of our graduation ceremonies for our beloved and very precious graduates for the school year which ends at this time. First of all, I'd like to greet the parents and family members without whose sacrifices, whose reminders, and whose participation in the learning process for our graduates have resulted in this culmination program. This year, your role has changed drastically where we've always thought, we've always believed that the matter of educating our children rests nearly exclusively on our teachers and our staff. This time, you parents, you family members, you who are in the households of our learners have expanded your role and contributed to this wonderful day wherein finally our learners are graduating in this culmination exercise. So congratulations, because this year has not been very easy, has not been a picnic for our teachers, for our family members, as well, especially the parents, mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, and all who have contributed to the achievement of our learners at this time. So, maraming salamat at congratulations, parents and family members. Mas malaki ang role ninyo at this time compared to earlier graduation exercises. Secondly, I would also like to greet our teachers, without whose very careful review and careful supervision of the work of our pupils and our learners, this event would not be taking place at all. And so thank you, teachers. Your role has also expanded, in addition to seeing to it that the modules are faithfully followed, the assignments are correctly implemented, and the learners are truly learning. And you have had to deal with new ways of assessing the performance also of the learners. So congratulations, teachers, for enduring, for your patience, for your love for our learners, and your willingness to engage in a way and methods of teaching which are different from those which are used to. Assessment must have been especially difficult for you, especially since you were not able to see most of the time our students in face-to-face meetings, and most of the meetings, of course, were virtual. We'd also like to thank the local government units for their interest, for their cooperation, and for their continuing contributions to the needs of education, even as our children do not go to school. Your donations of material as well as financial resources at this time are most welcome, and your advice has been taken seriously not only by our teachers, by our school officials, but also by our officials in the Department of Education. We continually talk with local government units, especially in times of disaster, in times of great need for classrooms, for space, and for responses to unforeseen emergencies. Thank you, local government units. But of course, most of the congratulatory greetings fall on the deserving graduate. Each and every one of you is truly special. You are different from the other graduates who have passed through the portals of your school. You went to school practically without seeing your teachers, if at all. You went to school with your parents, your mothers and your fathers hovering over your shoulders and seeing to it that you are able to complete your assignments. You are completing your studies at a time when examinations and assessments are different. You are culminating these long months of hard work at this time, even as you have to do family chores, even as you are distracted, and even as your world has turned upside down, and it seems and it appears as if we don't know what the future holds and what will happen next. But you have persevered, and now you are ready to graduate. And therefore you deserve each and every bit of congratulations from us in the Department of Education, from your parents and family members, your teachers, from the officials in local government, as well as in the Parent Teachers Associations. You deserve each and every single congratulatory pat on your back, each hug, virtually of course, and each greeting, which I am sure you are also receiving virtually. I don't know if you will remember this event many years from now. I have tried to recall myself who our graduation speaker was when I finished high school and when I finished my college studies. All I remember is that the graduation speaker was someone important, someone who was invited because that someone is supposed to give a message. What was more important to us graduates at that time was the excitement of the celebrations, the happiness and the joy of our parents, the sadness of parting from our classmates and from our teachers, and the enjoyment of all the graduation events that usually take place come commencement day. When I was a college student, we had a series of events which were designed to embed in our minds, which were designed to help us remember and not forget our days in college. We would spend one whole day going around the campus, visiting the classrooms, saying goodbye to our teachers, and sharing memories. We would have bonfires to say goodbye to each other. We had baccalaureate services where we committed ourselves to God and we prayed for guidance when we go out into the world. So many celebrations, and the speaker, of course, is the least important and easily forgotten component of the graduation exercise. Nonetheless, I will exert all efforts to share with you what I see are things or issues which a graduate should remember and recall. I have said that you are very special. You are very different. You are pioneering. There has been no other class like your class. There has been no other graduate like you as a graduating student, because you are the very first graduate of the blended learning response to education in the Philippines. And so you ask yourself, what awaits you in the world outside? You can either work, because the kind of curriculum you survived and underwent as a student will enable you to go to work if you wish to go to work. Some of you will proceed to further studies, and this would be a wonderful thing because there are many opportunities for further expanding your knowledge, for further answering and looking for explanations of issues, events that make you curious, especially in science, in technology, and also in the arts. So you can work, you can go to further studies, and perhaps some of you will settle down, hopefully not too soon, so you can pursue what you really want to do. So today, this is why we call this exercise a commencement exercise. It's not the end of our studies. It's not the end of all our efforts with blended learning, with modules, with floods, with earthquakes, and of course with COVID. It's a commencement of doors opening to you. More doors will be opened because you are a graduate. You can work, you can proceed for further studies, you can help your parents, and you can perhaps look for opportunities to do what you have always wanted to do, whether at work, whether at advanced studies, whether at learning more in science, in technology, in mathematics, and in the arts. All of these opportunities are available to you. More doors are being opened. I hope you will select the door which arouses your curiosity, the door which will help you know more about this world, and the door which will allow you to contribute to the development of our country and contribute whatever we can to solve our problems and our challenges. Congratulations once more to each and every one of you. Congratulations to you, parents and family members. Congratulations to you, teachers. When I was chair of the board of Silliman University, each time we had graduation ceremonies, during the baccalaureate and during commencement itself, I would cry. I would cry because we are sending out into the world a new batch of graduates, and we want to be sure that what is awaiting them is appropriate. We want to be sure that they are ready for what awaits them when they select which door to open. And so, we tell you, go out to the world, do whatever you want to do. God be with you, and be assured that all of us love each and every one of you. Congratulations.
Let us listen to a man whose leadership is well recognized not only in the community but in our school as well for his huge support in all school undertakings. Let us give a big hand from our very supportive barangay captain, Honorable Pablo M. Espiritu.
Say una-una, say pangiturri galang, say Diyos ang katawan, kaya danto tayo, nakasil naman, sayan agaw. Panggalangan kumot, say makuli-kuli lawas, ang principal tayo, Madam Christine Paglingayin. Untang tumot, say head teacher tayo, Madam Rubita Sigaran. ang say master teacher Madam Lele de Vera, untang tumod at saray mamaestro na mamaestra yang mangiter na karunungan at saray anak kayo. Untang tumod at say piti na idadaulo na makulit-kulilawas ya si Juanito Salinas. Untang tumod at saray kakaibara si Kayura yang mang-graduate ya ugagaw at sayan taon 2020-2021 masantos ya kapasan at si kinamin. Sa inibaga at si Kayura nagugaw yaman al kayon maong tapyan say ateng yo sumanlikat antayo say irap da balbalag lalo sarayon panahon na pandemya ya di malan san manduay taon laya ya kumun at ikalun na Diyos layan pandemya tapyano umpawil so normal ya palunubyo antami kay lay irap na pananggapoy face to face ya pan puro modular so nagagawa tan distance learning na nagagawa bala say pangkakasakay amin so nalampasan titan met irayang pagsubok untang lasirin masantos happy graduation la at si kayo namin. Salamat.
Another message of greetings from our very industrious PTA President, Mr. Juanito V. Salinas.
Sa ating pinakamamahal na PTA, Dr. Nila Ferrer, sa ating pinakamasipag na magandang principal, Dr. Christine Pagkinain, sa ating barangay captain, Pablo Espiritu Cap, sa ating pinamagaling mga guro, magulang, kaibigan, lalo na sa mga nag-aaral. Matapos sa araw na ito, isang magandang araw sa ating lahat. Dumating na naman ang kinaghihintay lahat na lalo na ng mga kapwa, mga kung magulang na mga anak makatapos ngayon taon. Matapos na naman ang taon ito kung kaya nais kong batiin lahat ng mga estudyante. Matapos ngayon dito sa Mabulitec Integrated School ng isang maligayang pagkatapos dahil hindi tayo tumigil sa mag-aaral kabilang pandemya sa ating harap. Good luck, manibagong yung buhay. Salamat.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, you are about to witness virtually the main highlight of today's event. To do the honors of presenting this school year's candidates for graduation and completion, may we have on our screen our very own and dedicated school principal, Dr. Christine M. Panglingayan, followed right away by the acceptance, confirmation, and her message, Dr. Nila U. Ferrer. May we give them a virtual applause.
Dr. Nila U. Ferrer, Public Schools District Supervisor of Malasiki 2 District, I have the honor to present to you the candidates for graduation and completers for school year 2020-2021 of Mabulitec Integrated School. In kindergarten, of whom 18 are male and 18 are female, with a total of 36 graduating pupils. In grade 6, of whom 23 are male and 20 are female, with a total of 43 graduating pupils. In grade 10, of whom 35 are male and 34 are female, with a total of 69 completers. In grade 12, 20 are male and 10 are female, with a total of 30 graduating students. With strong recommendation of their advisors, I hereby certify that they have satisfactorily completed all the requirements prescribed by the Department of Education under the K-12 education curriculum. May I therefore request you to confirm their graduation and completion.
By the authority vested in me, by the officer in charge, Office of the Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Ellie S. Obaldo, and acting upon the recommendation of your principal, Dr. Christine M. Pagligayan, that you have successfully completed all the requirements as prescribed by the Department of Education for kindergarten and elementary. I, Nida Yufurer, Public Schools District Supervisor of Mabulitec District 2, hereby confer your completion and graduation rights today, July 16, 2021, and declare you 36 grade completers and 43 elementary graduates of Mabulitec Integrated School. I therefore confer upon you all the rights and privileges thereto appertaining. Congratulations!
By the authority vested in me, by the officer in charge, Office of the Schools Division Superintendent, and acting upon the recommendation of your principal, Dr. Christine M. Pagligayan, that you have successfully completed all the requirements as prescribed by the Department of Education for junior high school and senior high school. I, Nila Yufurer, Public Schools District Supervisor of Mabulitec District 2, hereby confirm your completion and graduation rights today, July 16, 2021, and declare you 69 junior high school completers and 30 senior high school graduates of Mabulitec Integrated School. I therefore confer upon you all the rights and privileges thereto appertaining. Congratulations! To the class of 2021 achievers, completers, graduates, you have passed another stage in your educational undertakings as you journey the new path of your lives. The new normal situation brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic has been a challenging year for all people in all walks of life. True, the situation solidified our Filipino character, resilience, that we can adapt to changes. Yes, we have done it, and in education, we did it. We have overcome. Hats off to the school heads, exemplary performance as they managed their schools in the implementation of learning delivery modalities for school year 2020-2021. The teachers' compassion and dedication towards their works have been remarkable. The learners who have coped to their preferred learning modalities, the parents and guardians, incomparable sacrifices and support to the school children, and acted as learning facilitators. The stakeholders, community support, they who worked hand in hand to ensure that the learners of the new normal continue to improve in their competencies. You are all commendable. With God, who gives the best for all, you shall never fail. Continue to be resilient as you persevere towards achieving your goals and reaping multitude of achievements. Believe and let God lead you to your dreams. Keep the flames of resiliency burning as you empower and transform yourselves. Congratulations and mabuhay! God bless us all in the palm of His hands. Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your hearts. Psalm 37 verse 4 says, once again, congratulations, one and all.
May we listen to the graduation message to be given by transformational leader, a leader who has flourished the division's mantra, serving with quality, serving with joy, serving with passion, and nothing less our very own Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Officer in Charge, whose dynamism to serve is beyond definition. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Ellie S. Obaldo. Let us all watch this.
Isang mapagpalang araw sa inyong lahat. Lubos ang aking kagalakan na makapagbigay ng mensahe sa inyo, mahal naming mga magulang, guro, punong guro, at higit sa lahat, sa inyo, ating mga completers at graduates mula sa kindergarten, grade 6, grade 10, grade 12, at sa ating learners from the alternative learning system na pumasa sa portfolio assessment. Ang tema ng ating end of school year rights ay kalidad ng edukasyon, lalong patatagin sa gitna ng pandemya. Ang pandemyang dulot ng COVID-19 ang nag-udyok sa lahat ng educational leaders na gumawa ng mga tough choices sa gitna ng tanong, paano mapapangalagaan ang kaligtasan ng mga guro at paano maihahatid ang edukasyon sa mga mag-aaral. Ayon nga kay Secretary Briones, education must continue even in times of crisis. Sa pagtutulungan nga ng mga magulang, mag-aaral, kaguruan at stakeholders na itawid natin ang school year 2020-2021. Tunay ngang napakahalaga ng ating selebrasyon ngayong school year 2020-2021 because for the first time in history, the school and home have finally touched base together for a common aspiration. Nagpapatunay na malaki ang bahagi ng parental involvement sa academic achievement ng isang mag-aaral. As parents and teachers work together to address our children's needs, we're able to form a formidable team to combat ignorance and keep relevant values that every home and society cherish. Batid ko ang inyong mga pasakit at pinagdaanan, maitawid lamang ang inyong pag-aaral. Mental stress, dala ng independent learning, unstable internet connectivity, problema sa kahirapan ng buhay. Ngunit lahat ng ito ay napagtagumpayan ninyo. Ang inyong ipinakitang tibay ay kamangha-mangha. Ito ay nagpapakita ng katatagan ng ating mga mag-aaral. Lastly, gusto kong sabihin sa inyo, please appreciate your parents. To be a good father and mother requires that the parents defer many of their own needs and desires in favor of the needs of their children. You never know what sacrifices they went through for you. Respect your teachers. Teachers spend most of their nights planning, most of their mornings explaining, most of their afternoons correcting, most of their years encouraging, most of their lives stressing what matters most in life, and it's all for your future. So don't make their jobs more difficult. Congratulations to you, our precious children, parents, teachers, and school heads for continuously making the flames of education burn amidst the darkness of these times. Mabuhay!
Congratulations, graduates and completers batch 2020 to 2021. Indeed, Pangasinan 1 Division is so blessed to have a leader with a sterling reputation of steadfastness and reliability in the persona of Dr. Ellie S. Obaldo. Graduates and completers, the moment you have been waiting for has finally come. The fruit of hard work and discipline will finally be reaped. You will now be receiving your prized diploma. A symbol of accomplishment, as they say, a certificate is a tangible evidence of being a graduate and a completer. We know that everyone is thrilled for the formal presentation of our candidates for their graduation and completion. So, to know then our graduates and completers, let us watch this audio-visual presentation.
Here are the successful completers of kindergarten for the school year 2020-2021. Kindergarten Masaya. Abalos Gabriel Charles M., son of Mr. and Mrs. Gerald B. Abalos. Aquino Arnold C., son of Mr. and Mrs. Abraham B. Aquino. Austria Darrell C., son of Mr. and Mrs. Ronaldo M. Austria. Bataan Jimmy Jr. C., son of Mr. and Mrs. Jimmy Sr. L. Bataan. Bukeren Nathaniel D., son of Mr. and Mrs. Herbert B. Bukeren. Katunggal Jero Aldren S., son of Mr. and Mrs. John Jelo F. Katunggal. De Guzman Prince Carlo, son of Mrs. Jocelyn B. De Guzman. Derla Mark Terence S., son of Mr. and Mrs. Mark G. Derla. Lambino Nathaniel M., son of Mr. and Mrs. Marlon T. Lambino. Talinyo Christian Steve M., son of Mr. and Mrs. Christopher C. Talinyo. The twin Sophia N., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Erwin T. The twin. Devera Alearen T., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Edrel P. Devera. Espiritu Maybelline A., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Percival D. Espiritu. Herbosilia Princess May D., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Arnel D. Herbosilia. Gison Francisca L., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Jason S. Pizon. Makaraag Princess Men S., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. William S. Makaraag. Makaraag Princess Sophia B., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Bernard M. Makaraag. Makaraag Sanaya Haley B., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Samuel S. Makaraag. Mihia Princess B., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. John Paul S. Mejia. Kindergarten Masino. Bangkulita Mark Lester A., son of Mr. and Mrs. Mario Jr. M. Bangkulita. Devera Benz Jake C., son of Mr. and Mrs. Sopronio B. Devera. Devera Jared Rupert A., son of Mr. and Mrs. Rogelio T. Devera Jr. Devera John Angelo I., son of Mr. and Mrs. Jojo T. Devera. Makaraag Leonard D., son of Mr. and Mrs. Leo P. Makaraag. Magalong Simon Jake D., son of Mr. and Mrs. J.P. A. Magalong. Masiglat Zib V., son of Mr. and Mrs. Mark D. Masiglat. Santos Christopher O., son of Mr. and Mrs. Jomar D. Santos. De Valle Janine C., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Edwin P. De Valle. De Vera Gail Ahesia D., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Almario V. De Vera. De la Cruz Cassandra A., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Alvin J. P. De la Cruz. Macaraag Micaela M., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Benvenido A. Macaraag. Magalong Sofia Isabel M., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Jumel E. Macaraag. Mendoza Asliper T., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Joed N. Mendoza. Mendoza Cyril P., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Jason C. Mendoza. Talino Crisilin Joy M., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Bernard Lim N. Talino. Turalba Francine Faye C., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Ferdinand A. Turalba.
Here are the successful completers of Grade 6 Makatao for the school year 2020-2021. Anguloan Jr. Larry B., son of Mr. and Mrs. Larry P. Anguloan. Armas Carlo E., son of Mr. and Mrs. Roberto M. Armas. Beltran Corjan, son of Miss Amelia P. Beltran. Caranto Tristan James L., son of Mr. and Mrs. Rovito T. Caranto. De la Cruz Junjun D., son of Mr. and Mrs. Jose B. De la Cruz. Espiritu Patrick Jezreel P., son of Mr. Pablo M. Espiritu. Garcia Jovan Dave E., son of Mr. and Mrs. Michael C. Garcia. Martin Jade Christopher O., son of Mr. and Mrs. Roberto B. Martin. Mertigia Enzo C., son of Mr. and Mrs. Jeffrey I. Mertigia. Nevado Melvin A., son of Mr. and Mrs. Bernardo L. Nevado. Pinlock Jonathan F., son of Mr. and Mrs. Provencio D. Pinlock. Austria Yvonne D., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Bernie A. Austria. Bugayong Rose Ann C., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Joe M. Bugayong Jr. De la Cruz Erica Jane T., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Roderick S. De la Cruz. Giovanni Ayesalin S., with high honors, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Aaron Christian L. Giovanni. Eraga Janame A., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Rennie C. Eraga. Mapusao Marian Joy N., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Albert L. Mapusao. Movida Ronome D., with honors, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Ronald A. Movida. Naveros Princess Anne M. with honors, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Ricky Naveros. Pinlock Mary Jane T., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Virgilio M. Pinlock. Ramirez Cristina L., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. L. Richard A. Ramirez. Here are the successful completers of Grade 6 Masikap for the school year 2020-2021. Austria Bren A. with honors, son of Mr. and Mrs. Freddie A. Austria. Taranto Alton A. son of Mr. and Mrs. Elvis C. Taranto. Kayabyab Job Calix F. son of Mr. and Mrs. Jordan Cesar L. Kayabyab. Guzman Adrian James F. son of Mr. and Mrs. Jason C. De Guzman. Rivera J. Mark I. son of Mr. and Mrs. Jojo T. De Vera. De la Cruz Justin N. son of Mr. and Mrs. Jerry P. De la Cruz. Magaraag John Russell M. son of Mr. and Mrs. Rafael F. Macaraag. Naveros Jerome D. son of Mr. and Mrs. Ernesto R. Naveros. Padilla Gianpaolo M. son of Mr. and Mrs. John M. Padilla. Pinlac Rodrigo Jr. A. son of Mr. and Mrs. Rodrigo D. Pinlac Sr. Itlong Matthew T. son of Mr. and Mrs. Mario B. Itlong. Soriano John Ravens G. son of Mr. and Mrs. Alvin B. Soriano. Armas Alexa Joy P. daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Romy M. Armas. De la Cruz Jamaica S. with honors, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Rolando S. De la Cruz. Derder Jocelyn L. daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Edwin N. Derder. Tayo Gianmel C. daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Melchor D. Estayo. Fernandez Princess Tanya D. daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Cesar J. Fernandez. Makashib Teresa J. N. daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Marsan C. Makashib. Maliwat Princess Marie A. daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Manuelito A. Maliwat. Paglinayan Maria Angeline M. with honors, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Roderick F. Paglinayan. Talino Maria Christine A. with honors, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Wilfredo A. Talino. Errado Jacqueline M. daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Lorenzo M. Terrado.
Here are the grade 10 Einstein completers for the school year 2020 to 2021. Almorade Ryan James A., the son of Mr. and Mrs. Romulo Almorade. Armas James Paul Q., the son of Mr. and Mrs. Roque S. Armas. Armas Rafael G., the son of Mr. and Mrs. Reynaldo S. Armas. Armas Ryan R., the son of Mr. and Mrs. Aldred L. Armas. Bangkulita Mark Aaron A., the son of Mr. and Mrs. Mario Bangkulita Jr. Caballero Rodel C., the son of Mr. and Mrs. Rogelio Caballero. De Guzman Adrian R., the son of Mr. and Mrs. Angel de Guzman. De Vera Eldefonso Jr. N., the son of Mr. and Mrs. Eldefonso Sr. De Vera. De Vera Prince Joshua M., the son of Mr. and Mrs. Lailani De Vera. De Vera Leonardo N., the son of Mr. and Mrs. Bernard De Vera. Frias John Mark B., the son of Mr. and Mrs. Jimmy B. Frias. Gundayaw John Mark M., with high honors, the son of Mr. and Mrs. Mark B. Gundayaw. Lambino Dan Harvey I., the son of Mr. and Mrs. Delphine V. Lambino. Macaranas Justin V., with honors, the son of Mr. and Mrs. Jaquilo V. Macaranas. Pinla David P., the son of Mr. and Mrs. Daniel Danilo Pinla. Pinla Ruel N., the son of Mr. and Mrs. Ronnie C. Pinla. San Diego John Carl M., the son of Mr. and Mrs. Alfredo San Diego. Tamayo Jonathan C., the son of Mr. and Mrs. Armando Tamayo. Tamayo Mon J., the son of Mr. and Mrs. Simeon Tamayo. Austria Carla A., the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Rolando Austria. Austria Priscilla M., the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Cleofe Violeta Austria. Bataan Christine V., with honors, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Renato L. Bataan. De Guzman Jessica Paula S., with honors, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Leopoldo M. De Guzman. De Guzman Mary Grace U., the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Jessie De Guzman. De la Cruz Geraldine Rachel B., the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Raul M. De la Cruz. De la Cruz Mary Grace M., the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Fernando De La Cruz. Iligan Harley Joy D., with honors, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Charlie C. Iligan. Lambino Angel M., with honors, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Rufino V. Lambino. Macaraog Jessica L., with honors, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Jesus Macaraog. Macaraog Shaila May M., with honors, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Sopronio S. Macaraog. Mandak Jessamay D., with honors, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Amalia V. De Los Santos. Talino Daisime N., the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Eduardo Talino. Tamayo Christine P., the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Virgilio Pukis. And Benluan Maribel M., with honors, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Mario M. Benluan.
Here are the grade 10 Newton completers for the school year 2020-2021. Alapide Alexis C., the son of Mr. and Mrs. Alexander Alapide. Asis Ronnie A., with honors, the son of Mr. and Mrs. Sharon Asis. Bukiren Marvin O., the son of Mr. and Mrs. Marcos Bukiren. Bungkalan Ratish Dion, the son of Mr. and Mrs. Enrique Adona. Kayabyab Clarence S., the son of Mr. and Mrs. Roger Cayabyab. Rivera Christian C. with honors, the son of Mr. and Mrs. Marilu Rivera. Rivera Derrick L., the son of Mr. and Mrs. Geraldine Rivera. Rivera Patrick M., the son of Mr. and Mrs. Lourdes Rivera. Ibalobo Nelson A. Jr. with honors, the son of Mr. and Mrs. Mercy Ibalobo. Macaraag John Lloyd, the son of Mr. and Mrs. Rafael Macaraag. Naveros Jimboy M., the son of Mr. and Mrs. Ricky Naveros. Nevado Mike Brian A., the son of Mr. and Mrs. Bernardo Nevado. Pinlat RJB with honors, the son of Mr. and Mrs. Gilly Pinlat. Sapo Derrick G., the son of Mr. and Mrs. Ronaldo Sapo. Tajamon John Christopher V., the son of Mr. and Mrs. Christy Tajamon. Terado Gerald M., the son of Mr. and Mrs. Robert Terado. Austria Lyta Grace B. with honors, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Bernie Austria. Austria Sarah Jean C. with honors, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Samuel Austria. Ballesteros Jasmine Chloe J. with high honors, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Minerva Ballesteros. Borsello Elaine Regina A., the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Edelberto Borsello. Cayabyab Bernadette B., the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Lamberto Cayabyab. Cayabyab Camille S., the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Roger Cayabyab. Daos Princess Dimple M. with honors, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Robert Daos. Rivera Jennifer H. with honors, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Eldefonso Rivera. De la Cruz Daniela C., the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Roger De la Cruz. De la Cruz Marina D. with honors, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Marcelo De la Cruz. De los Santos Lorraine Joy M., the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Joel De los Santos. Emperador Arlene V., the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Marites Emperador. Lambino Arame C. with honors, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Filipina Lambino. Manangan Mishine A. with honors, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Salvador Manangan. Pinlat Abigail P., the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Myrna Pinlat. Salinas Beverly A., the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Helen Salinas. Solina Raisa Jean N. with honors, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Roger Solina. Tanka Stephanie, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Michelle Tanka. Vargas Rubilin C. with honors, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Lolita Vargas.
Here are the successful graduates of the Senior High School Technical Vocational Livelihood Track, Batch 2020-2021. Alapidi John Marcel C., the son of Mr. and Mrs. Alexander Alapidi. Almorade John Ryan A., the son of Mr. and Mrs. Romulo Almorade. Austria Gilbert R., the son of Mr. and Mrs. Danilo Austria. Austria Perfecto III M., the son of Mr. and Mrs. Perfecto Austria. Ayon Marlon M., the son of Mr. and Mrs. Manuel Ayon. Caballero Gerald J. M., the son of Mr. and Mrs. Alfredo Caballero. De Vera Justin Mar M., the son of Mr. and Mrs. Babsi Severa. Doria Rex Gisrael Briggs R., the son of Mr. and Mrs. Roberto Doria. Fernandez Mark James P., the son of Mr. and Mrs. Marciano Fernandez. Ferrer Christian M., the son of Mr. and Mrs. Rodolfo Ferrer. Ferrer Michael Angelo M., the son of Mr. and Mrs. Dominador Ferrer. Lambino Jerome D., the son of Mr. and Mrs. Jackson Lambino. Magalong Mark Paul N., the son of Mr. and Mrs. Rosauro Magalong. Nivado Junjun A., the son of Mr. and Mrs. Jose Nivado. Pinlac Alan L., the son of Mr. and Mrs. Jose Pinlac. Pinlac Anthony P., the son of Mr. and Mrs. Antonio Pinlac. Pinlac Roy N., the son of Mr. and Mrs. Randy Pinlac. Quinones Darin R. T., the son of Mr. and Mrs. Dario Quinones. Ramos King Matthew M., the son of Mr. and Mrs. Marlon Ramos. Ramos Paul Martin M., the son of Mr. and Mrs. Marlon Ramos. Austria Sharamay C., with honors, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Samuel Austria. Doria Catherine F., the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Severino Doria. Doria Justine G., with honors, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Delphine Doria. Emperador Marquis V., with honors, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Hilario Emperador. Lambino Trixie Joy, with honors, the daughter of Mrs. Evelyn H. Lambino. Lonnie Edeline G., the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Dominador Loni. Macaraeg Micah M., the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Edward Macaraeg. Peralta Angeli G., the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Bernabe Peralta. Kitlong Marisol T., with honors, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Mario Kitlong. Salinas Maria Gloria A., with high honors, the daughter of Mr. Juanito V. Salinas.
In a ceremony like this, these students who will represent the mind and the heart of the whole, students who serve as an embodiment of inspiration and the driving force of many, without much ado, may we listen first to Ayezalin S. Giovanni, a grade 6 completer, and followed by Maria Gloria A. Salinas, our graduate, as they will give their words of gratitude.
Sa aming buting prinsipal na si Ginang Christine Panglingayen, sa mga guro, mga staff sa eskwelahan, kapwa mag-aaral, kaibigan, mga kamag-anak at mga bisita. Sa ngalan ng aming batch Grade 6 2020 to 2021, minabati ko kayo ng isang magandang araw. Salamat sa paglalaan ninyo ng inyong oras para sa virtual graduation ceremony ng Mabulitec Elementary School. Iba-iba ang ibig sabihin ng araw na ito para sa atin. Para sa iba, kaligayahan na nakalampas tayo sa isang yugto ng ating buhay. Sa iba naman, may kaunting kalungkutan na ito'y yugto ng buhay natin ay tapos na. Maaari rin naman ito ay magbigay ng ating mga pag-asa patungo sa kasunod na yugto ng ating buhay. Hindi lingid sa kaalaman nating lahat ang mga pangyayari nagaganap sa buong mundo noong nakaraan hanggang kasalukuyan. Maraming mga bagay na dati nating ginagawa ay medyo mahirap nang gawin ngayon. Bawal lumabas, social distancing, online learning, video conference. Ilan-ilan lamang ito sa mga bagay na ating natutunang gawin kahit papaano nitong nakaraang taon. Kahit hindi ka techie, ay mapipilitan kang matutunan ang mga bagay na ito. Nakakasigurado akong wala ni isa sa atin ang inakalang may ganitong mangyayari, hindi ba? Sa aking mga kapwa-graduates, our first step has been very successful. Ayon sa kasabihan, the roots of education is bitter, but the fruit it bears is very sweet. Marami pa tayong tatahaking mga pagsubok along the way sa ating pag-aaral. Pero sa bandang huli, magbubunga ang ating mga sakripisyo at tayo ay magiging matagumpay sa iba't ibang larangan. Today, we are on our last step of being an elementary student. From this point in time, we will show the world that we are fully equipped to face the high school life. First and foremost, I would like to thank the Almighty Father. Without Him, none of this would have been possible. Huwag din nating kalimutang pasalamatan ng ating mga pamilya na ginagawa ang lahat ng makakaya para makapag-aral tayo. Sa aming mga magulang at kapamilya, maraming salamat po. Hindi rin natin pwedeng kalimutang pasalamatan ang ating mga guro na kahit may pandemya ay ginagawa pa rin nila ang kanilang tungkulin at tinuturuan pa rin nila tayo mapa-video conference man yan. Maraming salamat po mga putihing guro. Sa huli, hindi man tayo magkasama ngayon at nakaraang taon, ay nagkasama pa rin naman tayo sa mga nakalipas na taon. We shared a lot of memories, pranks, corny jokes with each other, shed tears from small misunderstandings. Marami pa tayong experiences together, marami tayong hardships together, marami rin tayong happiness together. Hindi magiging kompleto ang aking elementary life kung hindi dahil sa inyo. Sa aking mga classmates, aking mga batchmates, maraming salamat. At gaya nga ng mga videos na napapanood natin lagi na may umpisa, may gitna, at syempre may ending, may tuturing nating isang ending itong graduation natin. Kahit gaano pa man kaganda ng video na iyon, kailangan mo pa rin isara ang page kasi tapos na. O di kaya ay magbukas ka ng panibagong video na may bagong umpisa, bagong gitna, at panibagong ending. Parang tayo lang, magkakaroon ng panibagong umpisa. To my fellow graduates, together we dream, we believe, and we achieve. We can always build the door if opportunity doesn't knock. The future belongs to us as we believe in the beauty of our dreams and face our fears. Muli, welcome po sa virtual graduation ng Mabulitec Elementary School. Masaya at maligalig na araw sa inyong lahat. Let's rock the world! Congratulations to each and everyone!
As one of the graduating learners of Rachel Senior High School of Mabulitec Integrated School, I would like to give my warmest greetings to our very dynamic Public Schools District Supervisor, Dr. Nila Ferrer, to our very supportive, loud, and gorgeous school principal, Dr. Christine N. Paglingayan, to the barangay captain of Mabulitec, Mr. Pablo M. Espiritu, to the PTA president of Mabulitec Integrated School, Mr. Juanito V. Salinas, to Mabulitec Integrated School teaching and non-teaching staff, to our proud parents, friends, and to my fellow graduates, good morning. Graduation is one of the most important milestones in a person's life because it fills up the empty chapter in our life. So it can stay with us forever as a memory. It is after graduation that we soar to the world of new dreams and aspirations. It is after our graduation that we spread our wings wide and fly out to explore the world around, pursuing our goals. Strengthening the quality of education amid the COVID-19 pandemic is the year's theme for 2020 to 2021 graduation. I am glad wholeheartedly because of what exactly nourished and adopted in academic learning and good values that the Mabulitec Integrated School faculty has done and implemented. Through our principal's SMP project known as the Shermo Project, where the teachers toured households and convinced parents with Wi-Fi at home to allow learners to connect their network that close to them for educational purposes. This project has properly implemented. Apart from the SMP projects that have been implemented, the quality and relevant education of the learners here at Mabulitec Integrated School has become more quality due to the lending of the school's tablet species, OTGs, and Android tablets donated by the Rotary Club of Mandaluyong, led by Mr. Cesar Manuel Jr. All of these were accomplished and implemented under the administration of Dr. Christine M. Paglingayan. Before I leave this school, I want to share a little bit about my personality when I entered this school. So let me introduce myself first. I am Maria Gloria A. Salinas, a shielded metal arc welding graduating learner. I am proud to say that Mabulitec Integrated School is my alma mater because here I learn, I gain a lot of knowledge, and above all, here I graduated from high school. I started attending Mabulitec Integrated School in 2009. I was in grade 1. It is fun to think that I was just a toddler before who barely knew anything. But because of the diligence, perseverance, and teaching ability of the teachers here at Mabulitec Integrated School, my personality has been shaped and my knowledge has been honed. They are the reason for the wisdom I possess. And here I am now in front of you and about to graduate from this school. I and my fellow graduates of the graduating class of batch 2020 to 2021 would like to say thank you to our dedicated and committed teachers here in Mabulitec Integrated School because we would not have come this far without your continuous support, encouragement, and unwavering effort. Mabuhay 2020 to 2021 graduates!
Through all this, we have been extraordinary. We are so impressed by how you have navigated the past years. We followed new public health rules to keep our community and the greater Providence community safe. You advocated for what you needed. You stood up for equity and justice. And now to give her closing remarks, let us watch her audio-video presentation, Head Teacher 1, Mrs. Rita C. Garan.
To our highly competent OIC Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Eli S. Ubaldo, to the two able Assistant Schools Division Superintendents, Dr. Maria Criselda G. Ocam and Dr. Diosdado Cayabyab, respectively, to our dynamic Public Schools District Supervisor, Dr. Nila U. Ferrer, to our gorgeous school head, Dr. Christine M. Paglingayan, to the supportive and industrious barangay officials of Mabulitec, headed by Honorable Pablo M. Espiritu, to the equally supportive and industrious officers and members of PTA and SGC, headed by Mr. Juanito V. Salinas and Mrs. Minerva J. Ballesteros, respectively, to the teaching and non-teaching staff of Mabulitec Integrated School, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Before we close this 2021 virtual graduation ceremonies, allow me to take this opportunity to say, on behalf of the faculty, staff, and administration of Mabulitec Integrated School, congratulations to the completers, graduates, family, and friends who helped us in the realization of this momentous event. I'd like also to commend the teachers, the advisors, the planning and technical committee in this year's virtual graduation ceremonies for a job well done. To our completers and graduates, it is the moment that you reap the rewards of your trials, stress of answering the bulk of modules, and doing the performance tasks assigned to you. Stress of learning in the new normal, having no physical intervention with your teachers, limited access to the learning materials and other platforms due to limited access in the internet. Despite of those sacrifices and hardships, your completion and graduation is the joyous moment to celebrate. As the popular saying goes, the tassel is worth the hassle. Your alma mater have prepared you and enhanced your knowledge and skills for you to be ready to face more challenges as you take your journey to reach your big dreams in life. Always remember to ask the guidance, protection, and blessings of our Lord as you go on in chasing your dreams. I would just like to remind you, my dear completers and graduates, that when you have reached your dreams and you become successful, do not forget to come back here to your alma mater and celebrate with us your achievements and triumphs. Before I end, I would like you to ponder on the words of Michael Joseph's song, "Take pride in how far you've gone, have faith in how far you can go, but don't forget to enjoy the journey." Once again, good morning and congratulations.
Rest assured, upon taking videos, the prescribed guidelines and health protocols by the IATF have been strictly observed and implemented. Thank you. May we take this opportunity to thank everyone who unselfishly cooperated and participated in any undertakings of this year's Mabulitec Integrated Schools virtual moving up, graduation, and commencement exercises for the school year 2020 to 2021.